Mental health exams can be broken down into 3 different categories. You have pre-service, during service, and post-service. We're going to break these down so you know what you need to know about each one.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
The very second you walk through that C&P examiner's door, it's game time. You're going to be evaluated on how you dress, your mannerisms, your personal hygiene. Everything matters. I really do hate saying this, but it is a good mindset to put yourself in. The C&P examiner is not your friend. Starting with pre-service, you're going to be asked questions about your childhood. Did you grow up with both parents? How is your relationship with your parents? How's your relationship with your siblings? Is there any childhood trauma that you experienced? There are basically 2 things I want you to know about pre-service. If you do have medical evidence of childhood trauma in your medical records, you need to address this head on. When it comes to VA disability, you're gonna have to argue that this condition was worsened by your military service. And the second thing is, if you had a normal childhood, whatever normal means, it's okay to say that your parents were divorced. I would caution you saying, yes, my parents were divorced, and ever since they've been divorced, I've been super depressed. Now you're giving the VA ammunition to say that this condition stemmed before military service, which again, not the end of the world. You're just gonna have to argue that your military service made this condition worse. If you spend a lot of time talking about how your dad used to beat you, how he went to get cigarettes and never came back home, you're giving the VA what they need to deny your claim. So just be mindful. Moving on to military service, and this is the one that really matters. This is where you do not hold back when it comes to your mental health symptoms. If you have nightmares, if you have panic attacks, if you are depressed at times, if you feel anxious at times, or you're always on edge, this is the time to really tell the C&P examiner exactly how you feel. Do not hold anything back and describe it as if it's your worst day yet. In addition to symptoms, you also want to describe the in-service event. A very common in-service event for PTSD is combat related. Not all mental health conditions have to be combat related, although if you've been there and done that, combat is a great in-service stressor. Other events could be sexual trauma, which is very extreme. It could be a car accident that you had off duty, or something crazy happened during a training exercise. Anything could be an in-service event, and you really want to think about what causes you to feel this way, to have these disabilities. You and your examiner should spend the majority of the exam talking about your military service, your symptoms, and your in-service event. When it comes to post-service, it's the same concept as pre-service, but just from a different perspective. This is a great opportunity for you to express to the examiner how your symptoms affect your day-to-day life. Some examples would be if you can't get good sleep, if you're always on edge when you go out to dinner, if you have relationship problems with your spouse or your family, if you can't get certain memories out of your head. Really describe to the examiner exactly how these symptoms are affecting your life. Buddy letters and lay statements are a good tool to use to support your medical evidence and have someone else describe your symptoms to the VA. A buddy letter can be written by a spouse, a co-worker, your boss, someone you worked with while you were in the military. Lay statements help support evidence that is already there versus the opposite, where lay statements are not medical evidence. And that's what your exam is going to look like. They're going to go through pre-service, during service, and post-military service. It's important to understand that you're trying to claim a disability to military service, so don't give the VA ammunition to deny your claim. Here's how the VA rates mental health, and I'm going to pull up the 38 CFR straight from the source. Teaching you how to fish here, no matter what disability you're going to claim, go ahead and go to Google, type that disability in. For this example, we're talking about mental health and 38 CFR. You're going to see a bunch of links for lawyers. Skip those. Make sure you choose the link for ecfr.gov. Navigate the 38 CFR, find out how the VA rates mental health. And here you can see the VA rates mental health at 0, 10, 30, 50, 70, and 100%. Each rating has severity of symptoms. For instance, at 100%, the veteran is looking at total and social occupational impairment. Reading these symptoms not only helps you understand how the VA rates mental health, but they also help you understand how to articulate to the VA just what the heck is going on inside your head. It can be extremely difficult for veterans to express to their examiner how they truly feel, especially if you're talking about suicidal ideations, marriage problems, social relationships, things like that. My number one advice for C&P exams is to be open, be honest, and be vulnerable.